Hey everyone, your favorite high time frame bear over here. I'm just gonna jump into it. This one's actually a good video. Hopefully, put out some positive vibes out there. And I think that the price action that we had yesterday, well today, put in the liquidity that we needed for a push up. Now, before everyone starts putting words in my mouth again, you guys need to understand what I'm saying. Again, I still think that the push up on this last leg in this last quarter is anywhere between 120 to 130K. I've said this in multiple videos, I've said this in multiple Discord posts, and the only place I post updates, I know I make videos, but the only place I post updates will be in Discord only. So I think we are getting ready for that push up, and I do think that ETH eventually is going to take over. Um, and that time is now, okay? So as I go through in this video, I will be making some statements that are based on my technical analysis only. I don't care if you are offended, and I don't care if I'm wrong in the future or wrong with this post, but this is what I believe, all right? So let's get started. So in the Discord, I said that we were playing out with a bearish divergence, all right? So let me turn this on really quickly, and the weekly. Okay, so we had a bearish divergence form. Okay, and that pushed price down. Now, this is a weekly. It could take some time to play out. This is what I think is going to be happening. And let me just go over this really quickly. I've gone over it before, but the reason why I personally think the top may be in is the 5-way count, right? Now I took fractals from previous cycle, right? We can easily go back down here, come back at the 618 fib of the golden pocket. This starts from here, right? Back into a second leg up. This is one possibility. And then eventually it'll bottom out in the bear market anywhere between, 75 to 50K. But looking at current price action, right? Going back to the daily. So we're putting in similar moves to what we had here, where these lows were swept and then we started the ascend, right? Same thing possibly here. Lows were swept, and if we close above 99.5K today, then we have a swing failure pattern. These internal lows were swept, and then we start the ascend up. All right. Now, this also looks like a potential broadening wedge. Okay. Now, with these lows swept, we stayed above our previous range highs when we made it back over here. Okay. Range highs and lows. Well, lows were actually down here. And if we are above this level here, okay, very good. This is going to be our failed deviation. Staying above here, very good. Staying above 102 is also an important level to hold, because look what happened once well, let's just combine these two resistance zones. All right. So once we fell and deviated back below this area, we had the move down, right? And then we came and rejected from 102, moved down, right? Now, if we are able to get above 102 and hold that level like we did here, right? We had a deviation, previous SR flipped, went back up, and then continue up. If we are able to stay above this red zone here, then we will most likely have that next leg up to all-time highs around 120, 130. During this stage, I'd be focusing on ETH. I think Ethereum is going to start that leg up eventually and take alts with it, but not every single alt will have that push up to highs. I do think some potential alts are topped for this cycle. For example, Sol may be, and we'll take a look at that. But as long as Bitcoin can get above this 102 level, it looks good for the market. All right. Because if we fail to get above that level, then we have a deviation, which should send us back down to 90K. And then at that point, we have a broadening wedge formation, okay, which will do something like this, move back up. If bullish, flip this and continue running higher. But if bearish, we reject from here and then start that move down. All right. So that is one way of taking a look at this. And the second thing that I'm looking at is if we are able to get back above here, this was just all chop, right? Get back above here and do something like this again. Finally, let ETH and some of these alts breathe. Now, historically, February is going to be a bullish month or has been a bullish month in the past. So I'm looking for that trend to continue. But looking just from this price action compared to here, this looks very similar when we swept the lows and then continue to run higher. All right. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. Either we go back down to 90K and you bid 90K, right? And you're going to have stops somewhere below like 87, or hold above here 102. And granted, every news that comes from FOMC is positive. Stops would be something like this. Okay. And again, this will be most likely to new highs. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. Now let's go to ETH. ETH, same type of structure here. It hasn't really broken down. If you guys have been following me in my last few videos, I said I was long ETH with invalidation below 3,000. We haven't gotten that yet. ETH has been holding relatively well. Okay, still in that falling wedge formation. Right? If we go lower, then that $2,800 region, which is the SR point of this breakout, and this is a simple PO3, right? You have your, and I mentioned this last time too, right? Manipulation and then your expansion. All right, so simple PO3 here. I'm still net long on my spot for ETH, but I am still also long for my entry that I had around 33 120 or 33 200ish, 33 20ish. My apologies. I haven't really added much. If we were to stop, then we stop out. But my original entry was 33.20, and stop loss was below 3K invalidation. And again, I'm targeting higher. Well, first the highs, but eventually higher. Haven't really changed my viewpoint on that. But in terms of ETH, looks good, right? We had a triple bottom tap here. Okay, so there's the first tap. There's the liquidity sweep. Come back down. There's the triple tap setup. Honestly, I would love for us to get back above this level here. This is our key level to get above this 3,500-ish. Above this level, we run higher. But if we can get a breakout and do something like this, then I'm inclined to think that ETH is going to start that rally. All right, but 3,475 to 3,500 is that point to run. Very good reaction from this previous support. Bounced perfectly from it. Here are our internal lows. If we are above 3130-ish, then we have a sweep of those lows. This one is still untouched, so just keep an eye out on that one. But these internal lows were swept, which is also that support area. So breakout here would be very fascinating for ETH and the alts market. All right, so if you really are expecting ETH to run, then you want to focus on the betas like LDO and OP. AVE, I'm in. They gave this in the Discord, but if you think ETH runs, then you want to focus on the betas because they're going to give you a better ROI. Right. So my thoughts on ETH really hasn't changed. I still think that these next 2 months are going to be good for the altcoin market. But in terms of possible tops being in, Sol is going to be one. Bitcoin's running nice. So if we take a look at the Sol ETH chart, okay. So not only did Sol ETH put in an SFP, right? This just shows that ETH is outperforming Sol. And we can take a look at this, right? Like Sol over the weekend, right, hit like 270-ish and back down to 222. ETH, on the other hand, over the weekend was 3,400 and in a better place than Sol was. So ETH is outperforming Sol as it should, and that should spark this next move for alts. This whole entire move up, right? This whole entire move up was because of the dumb Trump coin that took all the liquidity. Now that we got that shit show out of the way, hopefully ETH is going to run and take the mind share away from Sol in the short term. Now, the reason why I think that Sol top is in is because like this just looks disgusting to me, at least. Again, this is based on my understanding and my technical analysis. I don't care about anyone else's views. But taking these lows, here is your range for now. All right, this is going to be your short-term range to play for Sol. All right, and Sol broke down from here. This little bear flag or little descending wedge here. So it had to bounce from that support, which it did perfectly. It actually bounced perfectly from this SR point, all right? But if this market continues to go higher, I think ETH is going to outperform. Now, if I'm looking for Sol shorts, and by the way, this isn't the time to be bearish now. We had a huge move down. You're not going to get bearish at support or at high time frame levels of support. But if I'm looking to short Sol, I'd be looking to short it around here. Now we can draw some fibs. Let's draw it from this high here. Okay, so falls perfectly in line with the golden pocket and the 786 fib. You could take a possible short here around 250-ish. Stops above, right? And this failed to make market structures down. We can draw some, right? So everything tells us that we have a lot of confluence to take the short. Lower low into another lower high and then come back down. Market structure is already broken to the downside, and ETH, like I said, is continuing to put on a show here, whereas Sol is starting to get, the much deserved hate that it should, and like any pumps into this area for me is shorting. But ETH, don't short ETH. I think it runs here and pulls all the alts with it. Well, not all the alts, but most alts with it. Okay. Now, in the event that we get a move down, all right, the areas where you want to get long on ETH, or sorry, on Sol, is going to be this order block here, and adding all the way down to this order block around 175. Right, this is where we put in the double bottom. Here is the neckline for that double bottom, and we got very close to it. So if we get this retest here, put in another, well, go up, put in a lower high, come back down, lower low, that is where you want to get long on Sol. And again, you're just going to play this range back to back to back. All right. So I do think that we get some relief after that huge move down. As long as we can get above 102 and close above on the daily and hold it I mean, we currently have reclaimed it, but I need that daily closure. This is a very good candle. It's going to end up like this, like I said, and we go higher. Okay. One of my favorite, coins to play, and this was a perfect, long that I gave to the Discord only. Again, all the plays will be shared in the Discord if I take it, not on my Twitter, not on my YouTube. Perfect area to bounce from. Now I want to see this get above this 325 level. All right, like I said, this is an ETH beta. It will run when ETH runs, and it had a perfect reaction from that area. Now, one of the strongest coins, if we can get above this level, this was one of the coins that Orange Man added to his arsenal, right, with WorldFi. So I want to see this continue running. Now, this is going to look very similar to this, where we had this huge move down, right? This candle looks similar to this, and then we start this new trend up, okay? Now, this is where people were, well, at least I saw on Twitter, were starting to call a head and shoulders. They'll start to short here only for price action to reclaim this level and hopefully go up. You don't want to short here until this level at 280 is broken, and then, we start that move down. Other than that, the strongest coin in the market is Hype, in my opinion. This is something that everyone should have in their spot. Okay, let me go to perp chart really quickly. Okay, above this resistance level and flip it to support. Here, I'll go to the daily. Okay, above this level, we should run higher. Okay, now we have to ask ourselves, is this gearing, like here is a clear range. Okay, clear range. Is this, and that's a very bullish candle, is this gearing for a leg up, or is this going to be distribution for another move down? If we get moved down on this coin, this is one that, again, you want to add to your portfolio. It's the strongest coin in the market, at least in my eyes currently. It's basically back to where it was when we had the dump, and it's showing absolute strength. So Hype is a coin that you want to add to your portfolio, in my opinion. Above this 24.30, then this will accelerate to $30. Okay, play it range by range. Previous range, here is the mid range, here's the range low. Bounce perfectly from the range low, getting back to the mid range with this bullish candle, and then straight into there. All right. So those are my only focuses. I'm not really trying to get into much diversification. February, in my opinion, will be bullish, right? But I do not think that a lot of coins are going to be putting in new highs. Just a select few. Again, the reasoning for that is because this cycle is not like the last cycle. Okay, we have a lot of new coins coming into the market, a bunch of vaporware, garbage, and there's not enough liquidity to be spread around. So there's going to be small stretches of time where narratives are going to be popping left and right. And it could be, days, it could be a week. So you want to focus on those narratives instead of trying to, I guess, bag hold them for a long time. In my opinion, the investing portion of the cycle is 100% over. Again, in my opinion, but this is a trader's market. So you want to focus on coins that have, the strength. Take your profits if you want and recompound later, but don't be so focused on, coins hitting a certain price. You can't be like, oh, alt season's going to come 3x, 5x. That's not how it's going to work. We have to think of this from a perspective of, the market doesn't care about you. It doesn't care what you want or what you need or how you're going to get it. It'll, humble you multiple times, and that's what you should focus on. Quick in, quick out, get your bread, and then, treat it as such. All right. This is and forever will be a Bitcoin market, and you should treat it as such, in my opinion. All right. So again, the most important level is 102. This will be an ETH-led rally, in my opinion. Alts will catch up, but not every single alt will put in highs. All right, so that's it for me. It's a small one. I'm not going to go over multiple things. I just needed to get this out there, but this is what I will be looking at in the next month, month and a half. Thanks, everyone.